Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. And welcome back to the first of, excuse me there a second, my Gamma World module reviews. I'll also be reviewing the GM screen and the mini module and any other Gamma World items that I can come up with, including the miniatures, etc. Trying to get as early a start on the month of May, and are delving and deep diving into not only the world of Gamma World, but anything else post-apocalyptic that we can pull out of our collection. A couple items we may even purchase just for this month in review. But right off the bat, I've got the original, the very first Gamma World module, G1 Legion of Gold by Garry Gygax, Luke Gygax, and Paul Ritchie III for intermediate level, beginning to intermediate level players. To be honest, that's a little bit inaccurate in my estimation. This one's a toughie. This is a really tough adventure module to survive. There are a lot of different things that will happen. There's several mini adventures along the way to the ultimate goal, and that is to face and potentially destroy, or at least make peace with, the Legion of Gold, which really is a far out off the wall option. The Legion of Gold has been raiding the local countryside of your Gamma world, wherever your characters may live, and abducting people and taking them off to do God knows what. Now, right off the bat, the module's your typical 30 some odd pages with plenty of maps, and I do mean plenty, close to half a dozen different maps of the different areas. There's the player's map here. I'm not sure what that's supposed to represent, some sort of map holder. Maybe it's an electronic device with a digital map. That would be cool. Unfortunately, with the way Gamma, and there's the map of the City of Horn, I believe it is. Yes, City of Horn. And several other maps of the underwater subaquan laboratory, a map to the area getting to the underwater laboratory, the Legion of Gold headquarters, and the Bug'em Nest, which is about as far as I made it playing it the first time around back in the 80s. This module came out in 1981. The Bug'em Nest was just a killer, full of these very similar to the Aspis warriors from the A1 series of Dungeons & Dragons, which I think was kind of intentional, and maybe even more than just intentional, if there is such a thing. But it was a toughie. The underwater sub-aqua laboratory, the samurai laboratory, as it turns out, filled with androids that are pretty tough. Each one is about as tough as your standard Gamma World character. The Bug'ems aren't super tough, but they are numerous, as you would expect from I believe they're termites or aphids or something like that. I think they're termites. But yeah, they're pretty, it's a pretty tough situation. And the androids, like I said, they have about 40 hit points. Their armor class is kind of up there because they're better equipped than the players for the most part. But throughout the adventure, you do manage to pick up a few pieces of equipment. But therein lies the problem. The Legion of Gold members, the Legionnaires and Centurions, are tough. I mean, right off the bat, look at that. See the gold guy there? That's a Centurion or a Legionnaire, I'm not sure which. Armed with laser pistols and mini grenade launchers against your party armed with a parking meter, a Mauser, and some sort of rifle. Hopefully it is in fact a laser carbine. Otherwise, you are going to be SOL. Not to mention that the Legionnaires and Centurions have a force field, which just makes it even tougher. So your characters are going to need to pick up every scrap of technological artifacts from the Earth that was, to make it through this adventure with any sort of success. There are opportunities for the GM to add some NPCs with a little bit of gear, and the players will be rewarded with gear as they go through the various side quests. But you need to conserve every round, every laser beam. Yes, they're paying by the laser beam. Until you get to the end, and even then you'll be lucky if you walk out with anything other than empty weapons with no energy cells, no batteries, no rounds for your old-fashioned weapons. So you're going to have to be very, very careful, or add a little bit more oomph to the player's arsenal, or they're just not going to make it. It's tough, and the force fields alone just make it very, very difficult. Now, the force fields do flicker, and there is an opportunity to try to maybe, save your shot for that split-second moment of, down shields, but 6 to 8 characters going up against potentially scores of these guys is gonna be rough. I'm pretty sure someone could make it through there, or a group out there, but I just don't see this as your very first adventure as player characters, which will bring me over to Famine and Fargo, which is GW number 2, which I would actually recommend playing first because of the rite of passage, and I'll go into that tomorrow when I do the next video in the series. But I really think you should probably switch the order in which you play these two modules. If they make it through the rite of passage and the Famine at Fargo, and then move on to this one, I think they'll have a lot more success and at least have a little bit more to work with. But otherwise, it's a fine module. This one's in pretty good condition. It does have a little bit of rust on the staples, which is one of the things people always look for. No, this one's actually in pretty good condition when it comes to the staples, and I will be picking up the ones that I don't have, and if I can't, for financial reasons, because the people are just asking too much, I'm not going to pick up any of the reprints. The prices of the reprints are what the prices of the modules used to go for just a few short years ago, and I do mean like 4 years ago. With inflation the way it is, I'm not going to buy reprints, especially since they're not even from the original reprinters. They're from secondary sellers who went out and bought a bunch and said, hey, I'll just mark them up. And you have to be careful on eBay when you're looking for these modules, because sometimes you'll have to click on the actual ad and do a little bit of reading to find out that it in fact was a reprint. This one's an original, and it's in pretty good condition. The spine is always going to be the first thing to go, so I'm not going to be breaking this open. I'll be putting it back in the poly bag when I'm done. If I do run a Gamma World campaign, I probably won't use this module or Famine and Fargo, just because they're so well known. I hate the idea of running a module that people have been through before, even if they say they haven't, or they say it was so long ago I don't remember anything. I can come up with something just as tasty as this one. But if you've never played it, it's definitely worth giving it a shot. If you guys have a Gamma World game going on, or some other post-apocalyptic game, definitely take a look. You can get this for free, on the internet. There are places like Scribd and other places you can look at it, read it, and that's all you need to run it. You don't need to spend the $30 to $50 trying to chase after a nice condition, or $25 to get a reprint. If you play it and you love it, maybe you want to have it in your collection, but for the most part, I would not waste your hard-earned money on buying originals, unless like yourself, or unless like me, you are a collector. But there you have it. It's fun, it's interesting, it's definitely a product of the times, but well worth playing at least once in your life. So I will see you guys tomorrow with part 2, which will be Famine and Fargo. Also, I believe a 1980, 81 release, something like that. But until next time, folks, have yourself a great day. It's looking beautiful out there. The weather's changing for the better, at least in my humble opinion. And I will see you guys later tonight with the paint and chill craft stream tonight for a couple hours. We'll goof off and maybe talk some post-apocalyptic. If not, then Saturday will be my first sci-fi chat on post-apocalyptic scenarios, unless I did one before. But we're still going to go over that sort of thing on Saturday. But until then, I will see you guys later. Have a great day, and as always, happy trails.